Salesperson Diana Rodriguez is suing her cousin's husband, account executive Alex Morales, for kicking her brand new car in a fit of rage. Alex says Diana took his wife out for a night on the town and brought her home drunk.
Miss, everybody. Thank you. Your Honor, this is case number 29 on count in the matter of Rodriguez versus Morales. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated.
Thanks, Bert.
You're welcome, Judge.
Miss Rodriguez, the defendant is your cousin's husband.
Correct.
Where is your cousin? She here?
No, she's not.
According to what I read, your cousin's husband, Mr. Morales, vandalized your car by kicking it, causing dents in the car. He says he didn't do it. So I have a few questions, and I'm going to start out with him, because I was interested in your answer, Mr. Morales.
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you and your wife been married?
About 3 years, going on 4 years.
And according to your answer, sir, your wife and Diana were good friends. Aside from being cousins, they were friends.
Yes.
And your wife called you one day and said that she wanted to go out to speak to Diana, just to have a girls' night out.
She didn't say to go out. She said she wanted to go to dinner. Apparently something was going on.
Well, that's dinner. That's going out.
Okay, well, it turned out to be some other...
No, but that she told you she wanted to go out for dinner.
Yes.
You have children?
Yes, we do.
How many children do you have?
We have 4.
4 children in 3 years. How did that happen?
We have 2 together, and we each brought daughters into the marriage.
So your wife said she would like to have dinner with her cousin Diana.
Yes.
And you said okay.
Yes.
Well, what did you say?
I said dinner would be fine.
You didn't give your wife any specific instructions, though?
No instructions other than I made it clear that I didn't expect her to turn it into a drinking evening. They're very good friends, they're close. I didn't have any problem with that. She hadn't had time to herself, so...
Do you ever go out, Mr. Morales?
No.
Never go out and socialize?
No.
Tell me what happened next, sir.
Once I got home and she was getting ready to go out.
What time was that?
That was 6, maybe 6:30.
Okay.
And her cousin came, picked her up, and then they left. Maybe about 15 minutes after they left, my wife called on the cell phone and told me that they weren't hungry, that they wanted to go and have a couple drinks. Didn't like the idea, but my wife hadn't had really
Well,
much...
what did you say to her?
I ended up telling her it was fine. I told her just I didn't want her out. I didn't expect her to be out late, and I didn't expect her to drink.
But they were going out to drink.
Not to drink and drive. I made
She wasn't driving. She picked her up.
If one was going to be drinking, I assumed they would both be drinking. So I made it clear to her that if they needed me to pick them up, that I would be available to pick them up.
Oh, so you said go and have a good time, but if you're both drinking, I'll be available to come pick you up. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
And I made it clear that I didn't want it to be a late evening. I told her if you're going to go, talk, have a good time, just I don't expect you to come home 11,
late.
12 o'clock. Late.
You told her you didn't want him home after 11.
Yes.
How old is your wife?
She's 30.
Shh. Go ahead.
At 8:30, it was around 8:30, she called me, and at that time she was letting me know that she was having a good time, but they were wrapping it up and getting ready to head home. Okay, are you guys okay? She said yes, they were fine, everything was going well. So the location where she said they were going to be is maybe 15, 20 minutes. Maybe an hour later, I hadn't received any calls, so I tried calling the cell phone, and at that time the cell phone was off. Off or had no power. I probably tried the cell phone every 15 minutes or so after that, and 8:30 turned to 9:30, turned to 10:30, turned to about 11:30 is when I started getting concerned. I started to get the kids up and wanted to go and see if I can find her, so drove up to the area where they said they were going to be. Different path on the way home, thinking I might see them stranded.
Didn't see them.
Didn't see them. Kept trying the cell phone for...
Okay, you tried the cell phone. You didn't. What time did they finally come home?
They came home at about 2:30.
And what happened when they got home?
Well, they drove up. I was actually getting the kids ready to go out and look again when they drove up. I went out to the car. First thing was, what happened? Is everything okay? When I saw the condition that they were in, I turned to being very, very upset. Said some things I probably shouldn't have. Grabbed the door, opened it, took my wife out of the car. The seatbelt was still on, so I had to reach in and undo the seatbelt for her. She had trouble even standing, getting out of the car.
She managed to get into the car.
Yes.
And put a seatbelt on.
Yes.
Okay, now Ms. Rodriguez, coming back to you. You're out for the evening.
Right.
Where'd you go?
We went to a bar that they served. It was actually a wine and beer bar. They served appetizers. We did have appetizers and drinks.
Okay, what time did you get home?
We probably got to their house around 1:30.
Were you having a good time?
Yes, we did, actually. We had a really good time. It was actually our first night out alone since the time they got married, because she is not allowed to go out alone.
What do you mean she's not allowed to go out alone?
It always has to be in a group setting, or he has to be there.
Had you socialized before she got married?
Yes, we were, besides being cousins, we were really good friends. We always went out before they got married. Once they got married, that stopped.
Did Mrs. Morales turn her phone off?
You know, I'm not sure if she did, but I know she did receive a call from him several times.
Did she take the calls?
Once, when we were about 5 minutes away from their house. She did answer the phone. It was him, and I can tell at that point that something was wrong because she looked frightened, and the way she was speaking was not, I mean, I can tell something was wrong.
Did you speak to your wife before she got home?
No. The phone was off up until she got home, and I showed her that the phone was off once she got inside, and I actually was angry and broke the phone because it was off.
How did you break the phone?
I threw it.
Where were your children?
They were in the bedroom.
Up or sleeping?
Up.
So what happened when you came home?
As we were driving down the street where they live on, I can see him coming out. He must have been looking in the window, or I don't know, because I can see him pulling towards the street.
What are you pulling towards the street? He was in his car?
I mean, walking towards the street.
Okay.
And I was driving in, and he opened the door just like he said. He pulled her out. He yelled at her first and said, "Are you crazy? You're married." Then turned to me and said, you ruined us. And was yelling, and he was out of control, very angry. I didn't say anything. I couldn't believe it. I didn't know what to do. I was scared. I was frightened. And he kicked my car twice within maybe a 2-minute gap.
Have pictures of the damage to the car?
I do. As a matter of fact, my car was 3 weeks old when he did this, so I was very upset. Brand new car.
Yes, sir.
When I got my wife out of the car, I expected this whole thing to be about maybe something resulting from slamming the car door. I did not stand there and kick anything. The whole process of taking her out of the car, I did say things that I shouldn't have said, but I did not kick the car. I slammed the extent of what I did to that car was slamming the car door. If I had damaged something, I was furious. I was furious.
Furious?
I was.
So furious, sir, that you couldn't control your temper inside your house, and you took the cell phone and you broke it inside the house with 3 children, at least 3 children, home and awake. According to you, at 2:30 in the morning. According to her, it was 1:30. According to you, 2:30 in the morning.
Yes, ma'am.
You couldn't control yourself sufficiently in front of your children. So you expect me to believe that she dented her own car? Why would she dent her own car, a 3-week-old car? Why do you think she would do that?
She lives in, I have no doubt in my mind, she lives in a apartment complex with underground parking.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the damage.
Oh, well, show it to him. Show it to him. This didn't come from another car, sir.
Oh, and
This didn't come from another car.
Can I say something? He's seen the damage because I mailed him pictures and a letter about 2 weeks after.
Have you spoken to your cousin since?
No. I called her the next day because I was concerned. I wanted to know. I left her a message on her cell phone. I just wanted to...
She hasn't called you back?
No. Ever since then, she's avoided me, and I know she's avoided mutual friends that we have.
Well...
And actually, maybe, I don't know if she's avoiding them, but he denies her every time someone calls.
Mr. Morales, it's not my job to be a therapist, sir. And if you've got your wife so intimidated that she has a fear of maintaining contacts that she's had all of her life, like her cousin, that's very unfortunate. I certainly wouldn't let you do that to me. The fact that you have no interest in going out and socializing with friends is your business. If your wife every once in a while needs to get away from the pressures of a full-time job and taking care of 4 children. She's entitled to do that and blow off some steam every once in a while. Don't you think so, Mr. Morales?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the problem whether she's married or not? Where did you think she was at 1 o'clock in the morning? Did you think she was out sleeping with somebody else?
No, ma'am.
No,
But it's not
you thought
a matter of the marriage. This was a matter of, all it takes is one mistake of drinking and driving, and it changes everything for my
They
kids.
got home fine, Mr. Morales. You
They
should
had
have
been drinking.
They got home fine. Then you wait until the next day, and you say to your wife, you know, it was dangerous last night. You know, you were drinking, Diana was drinking. I told you I'd be more than happy to come pick you up. You really had me worried. That's not what happened, sir. Mr. Morales, what happened is you lost your temper.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And Diana Rodriguez says her cousin's husband, Alex Morales, kicked a dent into the side of her car. Alex says Diana took his wife out for a night on the town and brought her home drunk.
How many times in the last 4 years has your wife been out for an evening alone without you?
Within 5 times. Not very often.
Not very often. With friends or off to an emergency room? It's a simple question. With friends?
Co-workers.
Co-workers?
Yes.
Out for an evening?
No.
4 or 5 times? For what?
No, after work, a dinner, banquets, things like that, but not to go out clubbing.
You think going out with her cousin is going out clubbing?
Yes.
She picked him. She may be happy with him.
And
If not, it's not your business. Can
and
I see the
respect
estimate
that.
to fix your car, please? Mr. Morales, how you and your wife conduct your business is really none of my business. However, you have absolutely no right to take out your frustration on Miss Rodriguez's brand new car. In order to fix her car, it's going to cost $2,600. She probably has insurance to cover it. There's absolutely no reason for her to have to submit this to her insurance because of your hissy fit. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,600. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out. All parties in the matter, Davis versus Jemison. Step forward, please.
Call center supervisor Penny Davis is suing the father of her son, car rental manager Jerome Jimison, for a loan to buy a motorcycle. Jerome says Penny was supposed to use her child's support money to make payments.
Miss Davis, the defendant is your former boyfriend and the father of your children. How many children do you have with him?
We only have one.
When was the last time you lived together?
Over 5 years.
When did you make this loan for a motorcycle?
July of 2003.
Why?
Basically, he wanted to purchase a motorcycle, so he came to me and asked me if I would help him obtain a loan to purchase a motorcycle.
Why couldn't he get his own loan?
His credit wasn't good enough for that. So he did all the legwork, and basically I showed up and signed the papers, and he got a check for the purchase of the motorcycle.
Wasn't that a big mistake?
I would have to second-guess myself at this point and say yes, but at that point in time, I thought I was helping someone that I could trust.
So you thought you were helping out a friend, but then he stopped making payments on the loan.
Yes.
When did you stop making payments on the loan, sir?
Actually, my last payment was November of last year.
Why?
When I lost my job, about 3 months after we got the loan, I got another job making considerably less, and child support was not lowered.
So?
Penny and I actually had a conversation then in the summer of last year where she agreed that because I could not get that child support modified and lowered to then match the new calculation on my new salary, that she would then pay that amount.
No, I did not.
Just a second. She would pay what amount?
Any additional amount towards the loan because I could no longer afford it.
Why didn't you sell the motorcycle?
There's no way I would get anything close to what I paid for
You have the
it.
title to it?
Yeah.
Let me see it.
It'll actually say on it that it is a rebuilt salvage.
So this motorcycle is how old?
1994 with some 95 parts on it, I think.
Now, you don't use this to get back and forth to work, is that right?
No.
It's a hobby.
To some degree.
And how much do you think you could get for it if you went to sell it?
$1,000 to $1,200.
And how much is left on the loan?
$3,744 and
3,744
and 61 cents. That's
okay,
the
so
payoff
that's the
amount.
payoff. That's the payoff amount.
Yes. I also asked Mr. Jemison to give me the title.
Yeah, well, he's going to do that today.
Judge Judy, if I can mention one thing. When we entered into this agreement...
Just a second.
Okay.
Before he mentions a thing, Bird, find the right place where he's supposed to sign off on this thing, because he's going to give the title to her so she can sell it.
Can I make a statement short of that?
Not short of it, after you sign it.
Transferor.
Perfect. Now you can give that to her. Now you can go pick it up.
Thank you.
And sell it. Now you wanted to say something to me, Mr. Jimison?
Yeah. We went in it with the understanding that she'd have my back and I'd have hers. I had no problem paying for the loan, assuming that she would do what she could to help me out.
What you wanted her to do, sir, is to lower your child support payments.
Right.
So that you could pay for this hobby craft. That's what you want. Listen to me, sir. If you said to me, Judge, I needed a way to get to work. And if I couldn't get to work, I couldn't pay child support. This is my mode of transportation. I'd have a little sympathy for you. That's not what you're saying to me. You're saying to me, this is a hobby. I have another car that I use for work.
I don't actually own a car.
I don't care how you get to work. I don't care if you get to work by subway or if you get to work by trolley.
Okay.
This is not your mode of transportation to work. So if you lost your job and you had to replace a job with a job where you were making less money, the answer isn't cutting your child support payments, sir. The answer is getting rid of your... I'm speaking. The answer is getting rid of your hobby. You don't say to her, take less money, agree to take less money so that I can make the payments, because that's what you said in your answer. I said to myself, I'm not getting this right.
Well, let me try
He wants to reduce his child support, and she said no. So let me read it here. So I got it. I should have it exactly. She agreed to make the payments out of the child support that I was giving her.
Out of the additional child support.
There's no additional child support, sir. There's no additional child support. You moved for a downward modification. Because you moved for a downward modification.
Right.
The downward modification was denied.
Correct.
So there's no extra child support. She didn't get extra child support. You didn't like the computation with your new job. And your new job, according to the federal guidelines, probably said there's a low end and a high end. And they said to you, whatever it is, you're going to pay the high end.
Right.
Been there, done that. Now you have a judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,544. Sell the motorcycle. Goodbye and good luck. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.